We're going to go live with me laughing. And I'm going to quickly copy the link that I sent to Vicky because I suck. Where the heck is it? That's here. Right, I got it. We talk a lot in that chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just went into scroll, but then it jumped to like, I was trying to find the link, and I was scrolling, and then all of a sudden it jumped to like 2 days ago, and I was like, that's not.
Oh, guys, it's been a week. Don't come for us. Probably should have posted up yesterday like I normally do, saying the link will be incoming, but we will be live. And I forgot. I will attempt to do better for the study of poisons. And then, yes, I'm saying attempt because I know me. We do, however, have a Vicky.
I should hopefully do the story of poison soon, because after this live show, I will be picking up. Not like today. I got to finish Deep End and read Dream Girl Drama, and then Study of Poisons. And I'm also
excited.
Another book.
The Study of Poisons is the last book that I have read. Like, oh, see, with having my TBR right here, I have not read either of these. Because I was going to pick up my Study of Magic.
Study of Fire only came out, like...
Yeah.
The other day.
I have my Christmas card from Maria in my card.
Oh no, I've done something. I don't know what I've done to my phone.
How cute is it?
I've done some things.
What have you done? Oh, I forgot I had...
Oh, never mind.
Guys, did you both get a bookmark?
Yeah. They all have like themed bookmarks in them.
No, but this one has the 3.
Oh, I've not looked at it, but this one has...
Yeah, I have that one in there, but I've just found this one inside the fire. Study of Fire. I love that she signs all of my books as Mama Maria. Like, none of them are signed Maria. No, Vicky, we have 3 to go, babe. We've got the Study of Poisons, the Study of Magic, and the Study of Fire. But I have 2 that I haven't read out of the next 3, and I'm excited. Because this one, I have, like, the Study of Magic, like, the colour one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are in the...
I just love that it's her thing that she signed this one with is always check your ceilings for spiders.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, I'm excited.
Enjoy the...
read them. Oh no. This is not working. It's pushing other books back the way. There we go. I managed.
Can I just say, I really enjoy the addition of the butterfly on this map.
Yeah.
Sure, you know what's really annoying though, right? Because I'm so bad at this. See how the citadel is here?
Yeah.
This is the snake forest, right?
Yeah.
And this is the citadel here. And this is the commander's castle. In my head, the commander's castle was here. And the citadel was here.
That's the
I was always confused how they managed to travel so fast.
No. But yeah, this is the map that I have the PDF for, and I want to print it and put it in a frame above my Maria shelf that I'm in the process of waiting for. Because I think it's really pretty and Martina's design deserves to be printed. Yeah. So in this one, obviously, the book starts off with like a few series of extra bits of information. It gives you a timeline. We get more maps. We get a new map of the commander's castle and of the keep. We get more maps of the inside of the citadel. We get some fun facts like ages and horse names and all that kind of jazz.
Oh, yeah. The horse names is my favorite thing. Like the horse names.
I was literally just away to say, what was your favorite bit out of all of the stuff that you got?
The horse name, like getting to know what the horses call everybody.
Yeah.
And
So
the only reason I trust Devlin is because the horses trust Devlin.
Fair. That doesn't work for Leaf though.
I never said I didn't trust Leaf. I said I didn't like them.
That's true. That is fair. So yeah, did you notice, or one of the things I noticed this read through, which I hadn't noticed last time, but obviously I don't know if I would have noticed it last time, in the military districts, on the opposite page to the horse names, a lot of the names that are mentioned there are obviously in the very first.
The commander's story, yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't realize.
The story, I was like, wait a minute.
That obviously we have heard a lot about a few of the different generals through the ages. There's a few of them obviously that we know were shit, like MD5, where Yelena was at the start of Poison Study. We know that the generals changed from there, etc. But a few of the generals that like way back when in Poison Study, when they were doing the tasting and the meeting with all the different brandies, like you find out that a few of them have actually been with him from the mines all the way back when. And I just remember thinking, I love this. I love how long their like history of trust is, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, will we just work through the short stories one at a time? Is that going to be the easiest?
Yeah.
So the first one that we get is obviously Diamond Study, which is Commander Ambrose's story from the beginning, like way back.
By the way, I don't know if it was. Is it in this or is it? It's in this the thing that he gets in this. We're talking spoilers. I don't know why. But it's Diamond Study. No, is it one of the short stories in here where he gifts Valak the heart that he finds? Or is that in the last book?
No, it's in here.
Yeah. That connection was so cool.
Yeah, and also finding out that everybody thinks he's got this really powerful diamond that is just sitting in a mine, but is actually his fucking war room window.
I know. It's like don't you like the glass in here?
Doesn't it have a really nice blue tint? Hint, hint, hint. Oh, I just love it. Also, I bought the ebook because I figured Mama gifted me this and I hadn't bought it. So I normally buy a copy of her books myself so that she gets money for them. But some of the pictures are in color in the ebook. And the one of the commander is one of them. And it's so cool. I did take my tablet down. This is why I sat over here so that I can try and hopefully show you shit. Did you see it? Did I show you already?
I don't remember.
I'll wait for my tablet. I just had it off. I need to put a bookmark in when I close it because we're going through them time by time. But yeah, what I hadn't noticed last time is in the picture, you see the snow wolf, the snowcat's eyes in the blade. And I hadn't noticed that last time. Tima's amazing, man. Her art is so good. But yeah, did you have anything specific that you liked about this other than obviously seeing Ambrose and the King's men and the reason that they all didn't like the King? So I think it's easy for us to say, oh, the King was a bad guy. he, you know, wanted to hoard money. But let's face it, people that have plenty of money hoard money. Unfortunately, that is something that happens. But I loved seeing that it was a case of, it wasn't just he was hoarding money, he was literally making people's lives unsafe. Like, he didn't just go, I'll keep my money and you guys can fend for yourselves. People were genuinely losing jobs. They were losing lives. There was death. There was heartache. And the fact that Ambrose, even at like, what, 13? Could see that it was wrong. Was it 13? Sure, it was 3 or 4 years that he, like, the story went over for his training.
Ambrose, he was 14.
14.
Looking at the character he just paid.
Oh, that would have been clever. But yeah, the fact that he put in the effort and proved to his dad that he could do it, and in the process of training, because they were training him, he was calling in the generals, which then became little sir, which then became sir, and became actual respect. Oh, I love it. Like, I genuinely love most of these short stories. I have some that I like more than others, just for who we focus on. But I genuinely, because we never really see from Ambrose's point of view, he's such an integral part of the Chronicles of Ixia. And to get a story from his actual point of view. Also, I know this is really skipping ahead, but can we just appreciate that he became a member of their pack, and by the end he has his own ice cub called snow cub called Ice.
Like, I know exactly who to give this to.
It was the fact that she was like, this doesn't look like a kitten. Oh, yeah, I know who you're going to. We make him have friends. Oh,
I love that this story really shows the depth of his loyalty. Like, you get his relationship with Valak in the other books, and how, you know, he values Valak's loyalty because he gives him the same loyalty, and that's why everything goes a bit funny in, like, in the last trilogy, because it's like, this doesn't feel like the commander, like, this isn't right. And then Diamond Study just really cements the fact that it's not just, you know, because the other books kind of make it seem like it's a two-man show, like it's just Valak and Ambrose. And realistically, he actually has like a more of a network of trust, more of a network of friends, of people who care about him, of people he cares about. And it really just solidifies that.
Oh, it would help if I put the legs down. I'm still learning this seat, guys. I'm still learning. Oh no, you're not. Maybe. But they aren't all in color, but that one was. But yeah, I do love the fact that, as you say, it seems very much like a two-man show. Not necessarily in a bad way or in a good way, etc. Just that Valak puts all of his trust and his loyalty in, other way around. Ambrose puts all of his trust and loyalty into the commander. Oh my god, into Valak. Jesus Christ, brain. But as you say, from the start, some of those generals have been with him the whole way, and have helped him take over literally with Valak. And it's fun to me because the flashbacks that you see from Valak's point of view in the last trilogy, when you know that he's gone to the assassin school and he's obviously wanting to kill the king and this, that, and the next thing, and he's getting teased for being king killer. The fact that when he finally found Ambrose and, you know, he was like, oh, can you do it? And he was like, yeah, well, I'll help you fund this if you can then help me with the king. The fact that at that point, all of these people were already there and helping him. I just love that it's like lasted that long, because the commander's now in his late 40s, if I remember right.
When he meets Valak.
So Valak is 14. No, Ambrose is 14, and in after study he's 58. So when they stop, when Honora comes on the scene and Valak leaves, he's 49. So that's 14 to 49. That's a long time to still have those same group of people supporting you and not having pissed them off or gotten rid of them, etc. I just love it. I just love that he's like one of those reluctant cat dads that says they don't want the cat, but then absolutely loves them and would part with them. Yeah, 100%. Vicky, any comments?
I love as well. It reflects like Ambrose's story as well. Again, it kind of reflects Valak's, like you're saying, with the whole getting mocked for being king killer and this, that, and the next thing, and that's why Ambrose immediately doesn't discredit Valak. He's like, because he's been through that before. Like he's been told, that he can't do something, and he's proved people wrong, and he's kind of saw that same determination in Valak.
Agreed, especially if we think about the fact that they say Valak had already known the commander by 10 plus years at the start of Poison Study. Like, there's a lot of history there, which I think is why in that last trilogy, as you said, you can tell that things are a bit all over the place because they don't have the same, not cohesion, but Yelena's about, there's more than just the commander. He now has a reason to want to go to Ixia and Ixia. He's got a bigger herd now. But yeah, I love it. I loved getting Ambrose's point of view, especially like moody teenager Ambrose, who wouldn't
I do
let their dad say
love
no.
the little thing at the start when it's like the commander told me he's always been a man, and why was I making a big deal about it? He explained to me that this transition from poor and powerless boy into the commander was a much more interesting story to tell. And you know what? The commander was right. But it's just the fact that it's like the characters like the whole cat thing, snow cat thing wasn't that dramatic. It's like my guy.
I love Ambrose.
I feel like this doesn't, like, I'm sure in the other books, isn't it, that I thought Ambrose was born a boy, but his mother's soul made the female side?
No, I think that was one of the first things that popped up, that the way that she could transition to become the female, when they went to Ixia and she was there in female dress.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of her name. I think Yelena assumed that was because of his mother's soul. But he's always been transgender. Because I remember Kit loving the fact that there was somebody transgender in the book that they loved. Any other comments before we move on to Assassin Study?
This is the one where it was the like choose your own adventure kind of style.
Yeah, I wasn't around back in 2008. Unfortunately, I found her books in 2007. I found her books in 2008. But the basis was that she would write a section, give a Wood Valak or whatever, do A or B. You would get some time to write it, and then I think they had about a week or something, and then it would be reposted. And she always panics because she doesn't really plot anything. She just writes and hopes for the best. I think I'd asked her originally if it panicked her, and she was like, yep, absolutely. And I think, is this the one that has the section at the end that tells you what she planned? Yeah. So this one has like what she thought she was going to be writing, part 1, part 2, part 3, etc. And it does not end up anywhere near it.
Mm-hmm. There's so many different options and so many ways it could go. But yeah, this is where we find out what happened to Zatoria's sister, isn't it?
No, that's later on.
No, who's Ziva? No, there is one. I'll be honest, this one I don't remember as well.
Yeah, it's okay when I read it, but it wasn't my favorite. Which is sad because it's a decent length. So the whole section is like 30 odd pages.
I can't even remember who Ziva is. Is Ziva just a random?
Yes. It was while trying to find Tam, who they thought was in league with Mugcan.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a filler. It's not its own sort of thing. It's more of a filler feeling.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I really don't remember.
It was something about an assassin attempting to get to Yelena as she travelled. So it's exactly between poison study and magic study.
And but we don't get Valak's point of view there, so it's kind of, we probably get more around this in study of poisons and study of magic.
I would assume so, yeah. But I haven't, as I say, I haven't read that. But it's definitely that filler section, so I'm hoping we will get more about it.
But it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I feel it. Oh my god. Sorry, guys. I like the fact that like the people reading it got to help choose what she wrote. But it does say at the end of it, the story of Valak keeping his promise is in the study of magic. So Ziva does come back. We do see more about Ziva. Which will be interesting because I have a feeling that this might be at the start of study of magic. I think. Yeah,
this is while Yelena is traveling to
return all the
Zoltana.
Yeah, when she's trying to get to Zoltana's for the first time. Which is so long ago in comparison to like after studying shit. But I do think Ziva will end up important for Valak's story because Valak and Yelena aren't together that much. You know? But yeah, as much as I love most things Maria writes and I like seeing Valak's point of view because we didn't really have much of his point of view in the earlier books at this point when this was written, I do prefer some of the other stories.
Power study.
Power twins. Do do do. I love these two and Marin, and this is another one of the pictures that's in color, and it's amazing. And Ari and Janko are amazing, and Ari, I don't know how the fuck he puts up with Janko, and Janko's just a little shit.
I just love this. Like, this is like all the stories that have Janko in them are basically just explaining why you can't say something that's going to go towards his ego because, but also
Yeah.
don't try and think you'll beat him in a fight. I'm sorry. I don't know how I feel about the long hair and the goatee and Janko. Like, I'd be telling him to.
I just love that Marin's like, dude, fuck off. Get up. I love that even in her like description, it's like Ari and Janko had gained quite a fan base. Don't tell Janko.
Yeah.
The events in Power Study come after Fire Study and before Stormglass.
This is the one with the sword that has the
power of its own, yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're like fighting everyone, and then a guy called Rai comes along who has a scimitar with a Scythian, which was a Scythian weapon. And they find out because they meet another Davian that this sword is cursed and will basically just take over. And as soon as it gets more blood, it gets stronger.
And this was a good one. Like, this was, again, it's kind of filler, but it's also, this was kind of good. It adds more lore. It gives Ari and Janko more sort of a strong foot in the world of magic, and we get to see like Janko's kind of like magic detection ability, kind of.
Yeah. Also, he rhymes while he fights, and I think this is one of the best little bits for it. Like, was it not one about he's green and he likes to preen or something? Yeah. He's green and he likes to preen. He tends to brag, but his feet do lag. Soon he'll be in a body bag. And I do love that Rai was like, oh my god, he's old yet bold. Soon he'll be turning to mold. And I'm like, no, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to turn it back. But we do find out that Rai's father left them and then came back just to get the weapon, having abandoned them, which obviously was not fun for Rai. But it ended up being Janko who saved the day, not that we would tell him, because he managed to keep his thoughts an absolute jumble that the sword couldn't counter him.
And you know what, that tracks. But do you know what's funny about that as well? Is this is how Yelena fights as well. Like, this is Yelena's tactic. She sort of reads the intentions of people, like what they're going to do. And you do see, like, in the later ones that when Janko is sparring with her, he does start to get more of an upper hand. Because he starts that technique of not thinking about what he's going to do before he does it. And I don't know if this came before that with Yelena, or this, like, whether fighting with Yelena helped this, or this helped him fight Yelena. But it's because the thing is, like, Janko is definitely intelligent. Obviously, like, he's great at the whole fighting part of it, but he's really good at tactics as well, but not like longevity tactics. His are like flying by the seat of your pants tactics.
Yeah.
But his brain works like.
We find out he can track really well.
Oh, I always knew that.
I know, but it's so nice to be able to see it, because everybody obviously questions him, and he's like, well, you can clearly see that the branch is broken in such and such a way that means the person went that way. And I'm like, oh, I just love it. I love that people like Ari and Nat just kind of give in now, because they all know. that are like Janko's really good at it.
It's kind of funny and annoying at the same time that like he acts like such a goof, and he's actually really, like I said, really intelligent and has a lot of good skills. But because he acts like a goof, everybody treats him like he's actually not smart. And it's like I would start to get really annoyed if that was me. But at the same time, if you're gonna act like an asshole, you get treated like an asshole.
I also think part of it is that he does it on purpose so that it spreads that he isn't as intelligent as Ari, so that they'll underestimate him when they try and go up against him. But I do also love that Ari figured out that the 6 guys were 5 of them were illusions, and he couldn't sign it properly, and Janko was like, "What are you on about?" Huh? He was like, "They were illusions," and he was like, "That isn't what you signed." No,
we need to work on your communication skills.
I just love that Janko was like, I'm impressed. Most Citians can't spot illusions or can't do that. And he's like, see that? I'm better than most Citians. And Ari's just like, fuck's sake. You shouldn't have said that. You should not have said that. We know. Sansi, not Davian. Sorry. Wrong last name. Anything else about how awesome Ari and Janko are that we have? They're not an insult.
Janko's fingers twitched. He was signaling Ari something about numbers, 5 into 1, and something about the intrusion. An intrusion. He said intrusion, not illusion.
You were something. Is this not the one as well that ends in a Ari insulting Janko?
No, Janko goes to pick up the sword, and he's like, "Don't touch that." It's like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "Just what I need, a variable speed genius." Oh yeah. How'd you keep him from chopping into ground beef? Ari asked. You know how you're always yelling at me for not focusing and staying on topic for more than a few seconds? You actually listened to my advice? No, I only listened to good advice. I did what I do best. Be a scattered brain annoyance. Janko pouted at Irish word choice. It worked. His partner stared at this like, man. Can't argue with that.
Heck of an illusion.
He's totally got ADHD.
Totally. 100%. I would argue if anybody tried to tell me that he did not. Because
he's the chaos bisexual of the team.
Yeah. Next we have Ice Study,
which is the setup for the second study series. Is that right?
Yeah. So
I have to say, I think this was probably my least favorite, but in a really weird way. So I don't know if you remember, I hated reading the bits in the study trilogy, the second study trilogy, about Owen Moon, and like I just didn't. It made me so uncomfortable to read about them. Like I just didn't want them there. I just didn't want to, I just wanted them dealt with. And so this was basically just like the most uncomfortable read of my life, because the whole time, especially knowing that they get away and they're going to come back, and this is where they're going to go and sink their hooks into the commander, and it's like watching a car crash. There's nothing you can do about it except stare at it in absolute horror, and that's how this felt. Like I hated it. I hated reading it, it made me feel so horrible. Like, I imagine how Janko feels when he goes into the creepy keepy. Like, that's how reading this made me feel. So, like, on the one side, it's obviously well done because it made me feel that. But on the other side, I was deeply uncomfortable. I didn't like it.
Yeah. That's
But yeah, it's
fair.
the ice moon that the commander's got, and he's the stained glass windows.
Yes.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
that was honestly the smartest thing they could have done with it.
right? So yeah, this kind of took place over Sea and Spyglass, but this was meant to be the prequel. Well, it didn't start out as the sequel, but it became the sequel to Shadow Study and introduced the moons, which, as we know, we hate. Absolutely hate them. But what would you do when everything gets turned around? Like, Leaf doesn't have a reason to suspect the fact that a counselor is asking for his help.
Mm-hmm.
Yelena ends up getting kidnapped from her house and Valak hides and then follows. And then again, illusions are used, but even though Valak's trying to tell her that what she's seeing in her mind is wrong, it isn't a trait that many people can do. So we can understand why she wouldn't necessarily think she's picked that up right or wrong. But as she said, Leaf was the one who remembered all the like signals and communication stuff better. So you can bet your bottom dollar that Valak, Janko, and Ari made her relearn them all.
I love this is the one as well where like they try and is it where they're trying to they're showing our Valak through
His mind, yeah.
his mind, and he does something, and it's like, yeah, Valak couldn't do that. That no, not this bitch. Absolutely no. That's when she knows, like she knows it's not real because it does something that Valak would never do.
Is it not just that he
And
wouldn't signal? She realised after a few days that while he'd signalled in the first one, he hadn't signalled again. But I think she was still just paranoid because she couldn't confirm that it was fake because she didn't know. But she thought it was really weird because he hadn't been talking to her where he normally would have. I think. But also, I love Riley Moon. The fact that you see Leaf just go and get food and then just get distracted talking about food was cute.
I was reading that as Elias Moon, not Ellis Moon, and I've just read it again. It's Ellis. Elias.
My God, where is it? It was just on the page. What chapter are you on?
What did I just say?
Ellis Moon.
Page 100 and go.
And you know what?
Can't find it anymore.
So I've got Riley Moon on page 101.
140.
Oh yeah, Ellis.
It's really, like, I thought it was really cool seeing our using our knowledge and stuff as well. I want to say Darren, who calls them Darren in advance. When they're like, there's a bit where they're like, oh shit, soldiers, and she's like, what soldiers? Like, Ixian. What colour are they? Like, what are they wearing? Green and black. MD5, right. Could be worse. We're good. The whole time, I just wanted her to stab him in his sleep. And it just wasn't going to happen.
That's very fair. I think my favorite bit of this whole bit was them actually ending up in the commander's, like, suite. Figuring out, these stained glass windows are beautiful, aren't they? What are you talking about? The colours are exquisite, like this brilliant blue. You can see that colour in all the panes. Don't you think it adds a certain depth and power to the pattern? Is that... Yes, it was cut into pieces and now decorates the commander's war room, a fitting end, don't you think? But yeah, the epilogue makes me want to cry because we know we just know.
The epilogue of the story.
Yeah, the epilogue of the story. Yeah, where we find out that Owen's already dead in Ixia, but we know from Shadow that he isn't.
That he's not. That's what I mean, like, the whole time it was just like, like, this is the thing, right? I am a full believer. If I don't see the person dead on the page or dead on the screen, and even then sometimes, I don't believe it. Dean Winchester, I'm looking at you.
Fair. Who?
Dean Winchester.
Oh. Very fair.
We always, like, screaming internally, like, don't trust the commander. When he was like, oh, crap, like, we've got him and he's been executed already. I was like,
So, this one, oh, you can't see it. I'm sad. I need to move. Has a colour picture of Eve nicking Opal.
I love this. I love this one so much. This is probably my favourite.
This is the one that we find out.
This is where we find out what happened to Zatoria's sister.
Yes.
But again, in my head, I imagined Opal blonde. And Eve brunette.
Oh, weird.
I know that it says in the book that she doesn't have blonde hair, but my gremlin brain cannot be fucking sorted.
Fair.
No.
I had forgotten some of this story. I remembered it was somewhere, but I couldn't remember where it was. And it wasn't until we finished Dawn Study and still hadn't had the ending that I knew it was in here. Because you and Vicky kept saying that you wanted to know what happened. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to say anything because I kept thinking it was in the actual book.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
But this is kind of in the book because this is where Opal disappears. And they're all like, where's she gone? It's like, don't worry, she'll be back.
Yes. Yes, this is a detour. This is a sidestep that wouldn't have made sense being in the book, if that makes sense. Like, one specific chapter from Opal's POV, but the rest of it not being from her POV wouldn't have made sense. But this is the only short story that is available to be bought separately. It was what she started trying to sell shit with first, if I remember right. Sure, that's right. Yeah, this is the only one that's available for sale on its own. I do love the title is a reflection of how a person's world can shatter so quickly. And obviously a portion of this one went towards saving one of Jenna's friends who had breast cancer. And then the events of this one are through night study into dawn study. But again, we kind of see in bits and pieces that Valak has gone and like been following her and stuff. So we kind of see it, as you said, around the way in the books. But we find her, pardon me, at home with Rima, basically trying to get her to learn patience and to learn how to use glass. And then a messenger turns up saying he has to deliver something to Opal and only Opal. Which I don't know what he thought she was going to keep it from Devlin once Devlin had left the room. But anyway, we get a letter.
But no, but at the same time, like he does the whole thing. It's like asking the questions, like where did you go on your first mission? What did you discover? Like to confirm it's actually her. So like Devlin could have been anybody. Like at least he confirmed it was actually Opal.
And then it's like, what was it? I'm in dire need of your special naturalist services. You did a terrific job curing Councillor Tama Moon with your leafy teas, and I can't trust anyone else to heal my sister. I'm in Savarit, located about 2 days southwest of Konor. Please come right away, your cousin, Zatora Cowan.
But it's funny because it was in that moment that I realised that they kind of are, they're not are related, but like they're part of the same.
They'll be related
clan.
somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Just not.
I love that. It's like maybe leafy teas is a reference to Leaf's concoctions.
I just love that it's like, it's an ambush. And she's like, why'd you think that? And she's like, and he's like, she's the second magician. Like, there's either Karare or a null shield involved in this. And well, you know, he was right.
This is this is quite an interesting story because obviously there's the really interesting, cool sort of like sneaking out the like it kept you on the edge of your seat the entire time, like to get out of
her little fortress.
To get out of the fortress, yeah. But then obviously there's the sort of not undercurrent, but kind of like secondary plot or secondary themes of this relationship that started out so good and then has turned toxic, but because basically this man is so scared of them being hurt that he just went too far. And like at the end, like they compare Gunther to Devlin and how Devlin was addicted to blood magic and Gunther is addicted to his money.
Yeah.
I love that. And if you're lying, then I will scramble your brains. Like, I love when Zatoria goes from like big blue-eyed, young, like innocent, girly, like Zatoria to like, I'm the second magician. I will turn you inside out.
I love it.
Because so I think everybody always underestimates her. But I mean, to be fair, she was the fourth magician, wasn't she? Because it was Rose, Bane, or Rose, Iris, Bane, Zatoria.
Really getting sick fed up of my screen.
Is it turned off again?
Just did the thing it did yesterday. Yep. Did you just see me just
Did you
look
hear what I
really
said?
Did I go black?
Yeah.
Like, did I have less light on
Nope.
me? No. I wasn't sure if you would
Music.
have a way of figuring out I couldn't hear you, which is why I was like,
Yeah. No. I was saying, wasn't Zatoria the fourth magician? Because it was Rose,
yes, she was fourth to
Iris, or
start with, and
Bane?
then no, she was third. Iris was fourth.
But everybody always underestimates Zatoria because like
Yeah,
Rose
but it's
had
because she's
that whole
young.
thing of like being terrifying and like really majestic and like the tall, straight figure with the bald head. Like, she was really striking, and so she
Yeah,
was feared, and she wasn't shy about using her power. Bane, he is an older, I'm assuming, white man. Um, so immediately anybody who comes across him would sort of just assume he was powerful. And then Iris again is like quite a striking figure and doesn't take any sort of nonsense. Whereas Zatoria, she is so young when she becomes the master magician, that people underestimate her, even though she is one of the most powerful um magicians in that world. Like, she has all this incredible power, and yet people look at her like she's a little girl.
yep.
And then in this, she just sort of proved, like, yeah, she needed Opal's help, but she is absolutely and like she's integral to helping them escape. But at the same time, she knows her capabilities and her limitations. Like, she knows that she was going to need help because of the null shield. That she knew that there was no way she could do it herself.
Yeah, and she knew not to try get another master magician in, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be any better than she is.
Yeah. So she had to work with somebody. She had to find somebody who knew how to work with no magic, because it's like when Yelena loses her magic, and then sort of in the inverse when Valak gains his magic. When you live with one thing and it flips so suddenly, so like Yelena was so powerful and then suddenly she was powerless, and Valak was not powerless but like magically powerless, and then suddenly he had all this magic at his disposal. It totally messes with you because it shifts your equilibrium.
Yeah,
And Zatoria basically was like, I don't have time to deal with this, but you know who's been through this and can probably help me? Opal. Opal adjusted so well to not having her magic that they were like, do you know what? You. And even because Opal helps Valak as well, like in the opposite direction.
yeah,
I like Opal. She's a really good character. She's been through so much and she's come out of it. I was going to say like better, but like it's not necessarily what I mean, but like she's not let it break her down. It's only made her stronger.
yeah,
And you can tell, like, she was always a strong person, even when she was a child, because when Devlin got a hold of her the first time, when he was still addicted to blood magic and he would torture her, he always, like he said, that she always lasted longer than anybody else could.
yeah.
Like, the fact that she was so young and she could still put up with so much. And she never should have had to, but she's just this absolute rock, like, to use like a storm dancer type analogy, she's like this massive fucking rock in the middle of a storm. It just is absolutely unbothered about what's going on around it. Like, the
Yeah.
waves will move for her, they will part around her. She will not budge for them.
Random fact I have just found out. Apparently, only 30% of magicians are male.
In this world?
Yep. And Bane Bloodgood is the only male to achieve master level status up until
Until
Tegan.
until Tegan.
Until Tegan, yeah. I was trying to find. So Roz was first, Firestone was first, and then it was Zatoria, and then Bane Bloodgood was 3, and Iris was 4.
Alright, okay.
And then because Roz lost the title because of her corruption and fire study,
Bane became the first
moved up to 1, and then Bane, and then Iris, but then Zatora left, so it became Bane Iris. And then after he had his heart attack at the end of Dawn's study, which will never not hurt me, Zatora stepped back in, and then Tegan becomes first at some point in the 8 years after that.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, isn't Yelena is a master magician? Like, there's no, just like I know Zatoria stepped back from it as well, but like Yelena has master level power.
Yeah.
Like, she is a master magician. She's just not one of the government master magicians.
Yeah, she turned it down. It says, in reality, the test is for a student to enter the fire world and defeat a challenge. However, only few magicians are able to retain the title master, although it is possible to turn it down like Yelena or relinquish it such as Zatora did, although she regained it and became first magician after Bane had a heart attack during the events of Dawn study. She previously was second magician after Roz lost the title due to her corruption due to the events. So it must, no, she must have been third. I was right. So it went Roz, Bane. I was right. Roz, Bane, Zatora, Iris. Iris was fourth magician.
Yeah.
Because I always remember Maria saying, you never want to write a story about the person that has the most power, because where can they go? Always write about somebody on the outskirts, which is why she wrote about the fourth magician and the third magician. And like Bane popped in and out, and so did Rose. That asshole. Prior to the short story After Study presented in the Study Chronicles, it is said that Tegan gained a fire lion named Hyoshi, which I love. But obviously, Yelena's is her bat.
Her bat, yeah. I love the fact that the bat, like, I thought they were kind of like, I thought they were entirely magical animals, like in the realm of spirit animal type thing. But I love the fact that the bat goes into, she's like, our bat's part time. Like, it goes into hibernation. God, I miss my bat. And I'm like, magical bat still has to hibernate.
Yeah, I was always really sad that people didn't like Opal's books as much. Like, I get that there's a lot in them. If you can't deal with like addiction in books, like those books are going to be hard. Like when I read it originally, that'd be right? Yeah, that's a correct statement. When I read it originally, my dad had literally just like gone through his massive like gambling addiction thing, and it was like massively hard hitting for me. And I remember saying in one of my emails to Maria way back when that I loved seeing somebody who was addicted to something having a redemption arc, because most people who have an addiction aren't actually bad people. They've just gotten themselves into such a fucking habit and a hole that it takes a lot to get them out of it, even if it like that goes from alcohol to gambling to whatever. And I know not everybody's stories are the same, but my dad is a lovely person. Like, he would not hurt a fly. He just got himself into a fucking hole. But it was like the first major book that I'd seen addiction in a way that wasn't just, oh my God, these people are bad. If that makes sense. And I know that obviously Devlin has a lot that he has had to work for. And I do believe he should have been in prison for the time he served. But I am glad that he got better. And I genuinely love him with Opal. And
I think for me,
and Rima are just
me, the point at which the point at which things turned round for me when it came to Devlin, because I didn't trust him for the longest time. Like I say, when the horses trust him, then I start to trust him. But the biggest thing for me is when he is at threat of having the blood magic used on him again.
Yeah.
And also when he's offered like blood, like, you know, they transfer blood to give the power, like for
Yeah.
Opal and her own blood, and Valak with his own blood, and that sort of thing, like their own magic. And he's not only, like, he downright refuses, and he's even scared, like, he doesn't want to be that person. Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't want to go back to that. And that's the moment where I think things shifted for me and how I felt about Devlin. But even, like, because even in this, like at the start of this, he doesn't want her to go, but he doesn't stop her. He just says, like, I wish you wouldn't go. But at the
I know
same
you're
time, she
gonna.
then can trust him to look after Rima and Tegan. Although Tegan's at school, isn't he?
Yeah, but by the time she comes back, Rima and Devlin are both gone, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody's fine. We know they're okay. But yeah, I fucking love Rima.
He was so interesting. I think, see, with Opal, I think I understand. I'm going to use an Opal Cowan analogy.
Oh,
Kind of, because Opal is a very, especially after everything that happens to her and her sister in the first study trilogy, she feels very much like the kind of sensation I get is like one of her empty glass bulbs. Like, she is fragile and she is empty. Like, she's just a shell. And what? Oh, you went off again.
mind.
You back?
Okay.
You back now?
I need to have a look at the cables. I've obviously, in turning it round, I've obviously pulled something loose, but I'm not going to go behind the TV and press buttons because it's just the two of you. And when I do this now, you know that I can't see you.
Yeah, like she feels like a shell of a person, and throughout the Glass trilogy, and then in these stories where we see her, she kind of becomes a person. And I think as well, like, because she's really young when, how old is she in Vala Campbell's Arijankophis Opal? So she's 13, 14, 15 through the first study trilogy. And then in the Glass trilogy, she's 19, 20, 21. So she is very young. Like,
Yeah.
even in Ice Study, no, what's this one? What are we on? Shattered Glass.
Shattered.
Shattered Glass. She's 22. Like, she said basically 10 years of her life, 10 very formative years, and that's what we see. Like, you see her realistically becoming a person, becoming an adult. And from a starting point that is really traumatizing. And I think you really do need to finish. Not the Glass trilogy doesn't finish Opal's arc. Like, you really need to finish off with things like Shattered Glass. You need to read the other study trilogy. You need to get Opal's full breadth to really appreciate her as a character.
Yeah. Honestly, I love her. Like, I love Yelena and Valak, and like, you guys know that this whole series, as much as I can never remember fucking things when I'm meant to be saying it because my brain hates me, like, I love these. Like, they give me the warm and fuzzies. I think I read them at exactly the right time when I was younger. And even on a reread, like, I do not care about the fact that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 copies of Poison Study. That's sitting here. I think I've got 8. But I've always loved Opal's arc, and Opal and Devlin, and adding Rima and Tegan in, and especially getting these short stories and seeing how they evolve as well. Because not only do you get to see the Opal's arc finishing up, but you get to see how Rima flourishes and grows. And her and Honora may be one of my favorite pairings for like just knowing that you would not trust the two of them to sit next to you ever. Like,
yeah,
no.
And saying that, do you know what? I probably would. Like, especially coming up if we're thinking about the next story. Like, Honora goes in. Like,
Honora is fantastic. Look, Honora set her mind on training to be an assassin and managed to do that without killing a single person. Like, she will always
that to me though feels like a failure.
I know, but imagine having all that skills and still being able to say, "Don't need to go to
It's
prison."
like saying I trained to be a dairymaid and I've never milked a single cow.
I know. Or imagine putting all the years into being a doctor, but not stepping into like a hospital or something. Like,
never seen a single patient.
But we obviously, moving on from Shattered Glass, which obviously we love, we get the most adorable fucking story ever in Diaper Study.
This is the kind of story that does not put any sort of, it doesn't add to anything. There's no point in it. It's just there for the sheer fun of it.
To be fair, she took a dare that said that people would read things that were even called Diaper Study, and we all have. I do think, though, I do love that it ends up being Honora that has set this trap. And I do love that at the end, it's Liana who comes back with the key to eventually let Janko out of the cage. But, like, the fact that at the start you just see Yelena being mother hen, not wanting to let her go, and then Janko like being like, "This will be easy. Where'd she go? Crap, she's on the move. Where'd she go? Oh my god, she's moving. Right, okay, stay here. Fuck, she's gone." Like, honestly, the ability of kids to move when they're at that stage is great. And it kind of reminds me of what Vicky sounds like when she's with Freya, to be fair. But
he does give her, he literally hands her to Honora and then turns his back on her. That's just
Honora challenged him to go and fight someone else without a sword because he was being a cocky shit. And I kind of just love that Honora could do that.
And this is why Janko's not in charge. This was like the humbling that Janko needed. Like, this was absolutely the humbling that he needed. You know he's not going to do it again.
Oh, honestly, I love it. I do love that he managed to disarm him, but also, oofed. Yeah, babies can move so much quicker than you'd think. I know, you always think they're just like little and they're just going to sit there, and then suddenly you turn around and they're across the room with their hands on things they shouldn't be touching, as Janko found out with his butterfly knives.
No, not yet.
Not yet. I love that he's like, I will find you some rubber ones.
Yeah, Janko's like the fun uncle. I mean, to be fair, it's Ari. Like, they're talking about, like, maybe Ari will do better. Ari's the one that started training Rima how to fight.
I know, right? I love it. Did you love the story, the itty bitty, was it the itty bitty farm? Hold on, let me find it. Because I know it's right at the start of the story. Yeah, how about Uncle Janko read you a story? On the itty bitty farm, there were itty bitty horses pulling itty bitty plows. There were itty bitty cows Oh, for sans sake, this is the stupidest book I've ever read. Itty bitty cows in my backside. I have a bear story. I can totally just imagine Janko just spewing off all of the different stories, but obviously making Ari come off worse and him better.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It's like when people are like, why do authors write in third person? This is why.
Yep. Yep. She called me her hero.
No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
I love the fact though, at the start when Yelena's leaving, he said, say hi to Kiki for me. It's like he doesn't like magic, but he loves the horses.
Yep. And then it was like, mothers, you're gonna have a tough time getting away with anything. Between your overprotective mother and paranoid father, you're gonna have to be one smart cookie to fool them. Good thing you have your favorite uncle to teach you all you need to know.
I mean, I
we
think
all know that Am's
skill
is her favorite.
The genetic skill of Yelena and Alec is really scary.
What even goes through your head though to start attacking somebody while holding a baby?
Sheer that just Janko, like a sheer arrogance. That's it, basically.
I just love that he was like big and brawny but unable to beat a guy holding a baby bunny. Doesn't rhyme. I just love that he just wanted the guy to apologize to her. His boss and chief of security, Honora,
don't forget the begging.
Oh, I loved it. But yeah, I do kind of think that Janko panicking about Liana is very cute.
Mm-hmm. Like, granted, she was with Honora, he hoped. But if the baby wasn't with him when they returned from the ride, they'd never trust him to baby guard again.
I just love that they call it baby guarding.
Yeah.
Not babysitting. I love that he instantly went to her office, then apartment, and then on the way to the way to the apartment, he found the people that were literally pulling them into the trap. Like, oops. Like, how stupid do you need to be to follow them into a building, walk down creepy stairs, and then fall into a cage?
I just flipped through and saw the drawing of the Commander Knights. I was like,
I know
the little baby.
It's so cute. I just love that it's like right up against his side. I know exactly which picture you're on about. So cute.
But yeah, it's exactly like the dad that doesn't want the cat.
Any other comments other than Yelena and Valak walking away with Honora and leaving Janko in a cage was funny?
They let her go back from it was fine. I mean, needed to think about what he did.
I love it. It's like, you got yourself into this mess, get yourself out. And then later on, it's just like Honora just comes and is like, hi.
My God. Alright, so next is wedding study. I really enjoyed this. Like, this is the first time you really get to see Rima, and the fact that everybody just trusts her is good, but you still see that underlying like fear that she has that nobody's going to believe her.
Yeah, but also the
This is like,
determination from growing up on the street to not be a pushover, I guess. Like in this,
yeah,
she's only 12. Poor baby.
this is like, I love this. This is like the run up to the wedding.
Yeah. And then the actual wedding as well.
And the wedding, yeah. I love that the first thing is like, your bride's missing. It's like, no, she's doing something. It's like, but Valak's, it's funny because Valak's like obviously concerned, but it's like, she can take care of herself. She can
I
take
just
care of
love this.
herself.
Like, Fisk arrived at the creepy keepy. Don't know where she is now. Eh. Also, Liana at this point is very, very cute.
I love how he's trying to get her to say Uncle Janko. He's like, oh.
Uncle Janko.
Uncle Janko. And she's just like, no.
Dada. But yeah, we basically have Yelena going with Fisk to speak to the commander, who nobody else knows is there.
I love that. It's like, look in the window for London. Like, you will cause an international incident. I was invited.
I love that he walks down the aisle with Iris, and everybody's like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
But it's a proper statement of like, I think this is the story that made me like Ambrose the most.
And he gave her the ring.
Yeah. The Mountain Heart. That's what I mean. Like the fact that he gives it to them, and that's a huge, like, after reading Diamond Study, like for him to give that to them as a gift, that is a huge like thing. They don't even understand.
No, and I just love that the very last line of Diamond Study, if I remember right, is that the king bought it for the queen. Hold on.
For the queen, it's like, I plan on getting it back.
5 days later, Medwin met with Ambrose. I've sold her. The gold minus my fees being deposited in your vault at the bank. How much? 100,000. Who bought her? The king of Ixia for his wife. And then he gets it back and gives it to Valak for Yelena. And I'm like, oh my god, the bitch has no idea what the fuck she's wearing on her finger.
No. No, dude.
Ah!
But I love the fact that as well they use Liana. It's like, oh shit, Valak's mum's in a bad mood. Hand the baby, hand the baby, hand the baby. It's a distractor. Give her the baby.
And it's like, I love that somebody has already been like, give your mum Liana. And then someone, Yelena's like, I need to just not be there yet. Give her to my mum. And he's like, no, my mum is worse.
So we can talk down, girl.
Yeah, 100%.
She's not going to cause an international incident.
Vincenza, however, potentially, especially if she keeps scowling. But I do love that it's like Zethan and Zohav, we see them again, and they've been training at the keep, and the Zebulon's back. We don't think we see
I'm
Zebulon
so proud of is it Zeb? No, who's the oldest?
Zebulon.
Yeah, I'm so proud of Zeb for like taking his own
I know, I'm wanting to go into class and being like, if I don't like it, I'll come back and I'll try something different. Like, it's fine. But just the fact that he actually, because I feel like we obviously don't see too much.
He would have been a really good I don't know how old he is, but I feel like he would have been really good with Opal if Devlin hadn't been around.
He's 20 now, and the twins are 17 in Wedding Study.
Zeth and Zohav.
They're 17
Zeth
apparently.
and Zohav are 18 in Wedding Study.
Oh.
And Opal is 23. Yeah, so he's ages with Opal. They're going to be such good friends.
Yeah. They've got such a close herd as well.
Yeah. I love the fact that when she brings the snow cat back, where is it? Oh yeah. He says, "A new member of our herd, love?" Yes. And I know the perfect person who can eat her.
Yep. I'm so happy. I also love that in this one we get to see more about what Rima's power is and how she can sense things in like that invisible, unseen world where it helps her figure out where her family are. She can sense things. I think it's really funny how she goes and speaks to Leaf and is like, "Did you sense anything off with people?" And then she sneaks out and Honora's like, "Where are we going?" And she's like, "Dining room, you can come if you want." As if I would just say, I'm going, whether you say yes or no. And then I love that because as soon as they go in, she can sense that it's a thing, not a person. It's just so cool. Like the fact that she
Even the fact that like Iris and that take her seriously, like at no point does anybody not really take her seriously.
Yeah, and I just love that she's like, "Hi," and they're like, "How did you know I'm here?" With something like shadows don't breathe. And I love the fact that the way her magic works is different. And that although she's been tested,
it's almost
as
like
soon
you
as
can see the magic.
Yeah, I find it so fascinating that pre-poison study, I can guarantee you they'd have tested her, seen it was a no, and have taken that no as actual fact. But because of the last decade and the fact that Yelena's magic's proven different, that Opal's magic's gone different, that they've got so many different types of magic now. Like the guy who could fill up Opal's bowls could recharge the diamonds. Like part of his power they could sense, and they obviously he was hidden in the compound, but in general he knew just enough to save himself from flaring out, but they could sense it, but he could at the same time he wasn't really the same type of magician as the Toran stuff. I just love that because they've seen so much over the last decade and so many ways that magic can be used and manipulated and folded and abused, but also used in different ways than they ever realized it could be.
I wonder if that kind of magic is like somehow. I mean, I am just like, obviously, I don't think Maria thinks about it in this sort of. I'm just, oh my god, Hamish is just rolled over on his back. His feet up in the air. His Grinch feet are really bad. Anyway, but like if you think about the people who have that type of magic, they were all abused in some way when they were young.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, maybe it's linked to that, and I'm like, I've actually met Maria. Like, it's probably not. She's probably gone. I don't know.
But at the same time, it could just be something that, like, developmentally, something hasn't clicked properly. Or like with Valak, we know because when he was so sad after his brother's passing, he literally pulled magic to himself, but he was too young at that point. He didn't really know what he was doing. And Rima's been on the streets for so long that she had to be streetwise. She had to figure out what people's intentions were. And it wouldn't shock me if, again, as you say,
brother, like Tegan was also on the streets, but it's very different for boy than it is a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've got Regan?
Tegan.
Rima.
Yeah.
Rima, Opal, the guy from the cult.
Whose name neither of us can remember, but we know it's Bloodrose.
Yeah. These are the ones that
Yelena.
they've not had the best. Yelena.
Valak.
They've all had some kind of trauma, like big.
And it's all been trauma under the
trauma.
age of like 13 as well. Interesting. Might have to message her and be like, we've got a question for you.
She'll probably be like, I have no idea. Maybe subconsciously. Be it.
In this one, we also get to see Cade again.
I was so happy about that. I was so
excited for you to find out about it because you even said in the live you really hope he gets with her. And I was like,
yeah,
Andi.
it's the fact that he goes to invite her to the wedding and that guy is like, oh yeah, we're engaged. And she's like, no, we're not.
Dude. No, we're not.
Asshole. And Cade's like immediately goes from like, oh, I need to respect her boundaries to I will kick this guy's ass.
Especially when 2 seconds. And then I love that he's like, I've always been gonna go. I just couldn't decide whether I was gonna come and invite you. And I was like, bitch, Helen deserved that. Like, the two of them deserve each other. They both have that need to be on the coast for 4 months, but then they have the really quiet need of just being happy. And I'm so proud and happy that Cade decided and realized that he and Opal wouldn't have been happy together. Like, I like them together for the books that we get them together, but I genuinely believe that her gallivanting and trying to help Ixia and whatever would have driven him absolutely fucking nuts. I got a new sweet today. You two probably don't even want to know, but it's a sour cherry toxic waste ultra sour. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know if I should have opened it while we're still on here, but I want something to chew on. What do we think about them having a rainbow around them with their best men and best women?
I did not, like, we know I'm not good at the visualization, so I did not pick up on that.
So, hold on.
I hate sometimes that Hamish is black and black because you can't see. Can't really see him as well.
So yeah. Before we get to the rainbow, I would like to firstly draw your attention to Ambrose appearing when Valak did not know he was there. Can't have a wedding without your man of honor. Honora won't be disappointed, I assure you, and please don't lecture me about the danger. Yelena and Fisk have already reminded me. The wedding crasher. Hardly, I was invited.
I was invited.
Wasn't me. But also, good. Can you explain the presence of this creature? Ambrose gestured to his lap. I've shooed it away 5 times, yet it insists on napping on me. The white cat was curled in a ball and fast asleep. Yelena rescued the cat a few nights ago. She was abandoned. Looks like she likes you. I don't appreciate her shedding on my dress uniform. I love the next bit. Picking her up, he hefted her, then sat her down. He ran his hands over her back and legs and inspected her oversized paws. She allowed his touch. When he finished, she rubbed her head on his chest, spun around a few times, and settled back on his lap. She's a snowcat cub. Ah, that makes sense. What does? Turn a page. She's yours. Yelena plans to give her to you. No, thank you. Do you want to disappoint Yelena on her wedding day? Low blow, Valak. Regardless, this cub shouldn't even be here. She needs to be back on the Northern Ice Pack with her pride. Up to you. Her being here is impossible. Sounds like you have a mystery to solve.
Your problem.
I just love the two of them. But yeah, right. So you've got Rima and Fisk and Violet, who start on the outside, going in towards the bride. And then you've got Mara and Leaf. Mara's an indigo. Zatora's in sapphire. Opal is in green, obviously. Honora is in golden yellow. Marin is in orange. And Iris is in red. Literally a rainbow.
Do you know what's really funny about Iris being in red? If we could just flick to page 319. And there is a drawing of Iris. It is Iris that's in red, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at Iris there, that is a very, I don't know if anybody who's not got there. This is the photo of Iris. Now that is very Desi. And
yeah,
the idea of Iris in red in an outfit like that, to be fair, wouldn't actually happen. That would never happen. Well, in our world, that would never happen because that is a bridal outfit.
Yeah, but her dress isn't like that. Remember, it's like a scalloped, like knee length at the front and then longer at the back. And it's off the shoulders, the same.
I just, when you said that, I was like, wait a minute, let me look at this. I don't hate, but I cannot, this photo, I don't like, Pearl looks so sad.
Yeah.
But this is the happiest moment Pearl could have. Like, if Liana's there, that means that, you know, she's got Yelena, who's got Valak, they've got Liana, and Leaf's got Mara. Like, she is in mother-in-law grandma heaven right now. Why does she look so sad? Anyway, sorry. We'll just, yeah, the wedding ceremony as well. Like, really cute. So yeah, next Victoria and sapphire blue dress which match Mara's except for the extra material. This one. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see if I can come closer.
Eh?
Oh. I'm incoming.
I love that she's got her.
Yeah. And then this is the one that. Oh.
I love this bit at the end of this page. She looks so sad. This bit is like Ambrose smiled and plucked the girl from Yelena. Liana giggled and the tension over the commander's presence at the wedding disappeared.
Yeah. I also love that she calls him Ambi.
Ambi!
Yeah. And then oh, the wrong one. Do you mind? And then we've got no, not that way. Alec. And then Yelena.
Oh, do you have a colour picture of the first one? The Valak and Yelena under the tree.
Yes. Oh my god, it's stunning.
Tell me she doesn't look like Sandra Bullock.
Maybe a bit more like Demi Moore, to be fair.
Do you know what I want to see? I need somebody to get on the Soul Finders.
There we go.
See, that doesn't show up as well in black and white. Get somebody to draw Valak in his sneak suit because I need to see it.
Trying to.
That's the person that did the art for the Fairy Light ones, isn't it?
I don't actually know. Ow. Did you hear my knee? Look at ice.
I'm so sad the Storm Dancer one is in black and white. I'm so sad they're all in black and white, but caught the Storm Dancer one, and like
I literally had never seen them in color until I bought this, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy!" And then the dancing.
Oh, that's what it is. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, are we finished with Wedding Study?
Look at Liana. It's so cute. Oh my god, can you hear me? Just cracking away over here.
Oh no.
Yes, I've also now showed you them all in color, so that's fine.
Oh yeah, and the sort of mic drop at the end of Wedding Study.
Yeah.
Seems our son doesn't have the same magic as Liana. Son? Yes, Vincent should be joining our herd at the beginning of the warming season.
And then we find out they've got more kids. They've got twins.
Twins.
Willem and Victoria, which I'm going to take as a main name. I don't think it is, but I'm going to take it.
His brothers. His brothers. When I tell you, it's his brother's name.
Willem is, but not Victoria.
Victor.
What was Victor? Victor was.
Oh my god, you've got a ghost. I'm not even kidding, Vicky, you backed me up. I just saw not like an orb go past like that, and it left a trail. Like it had like a tail behind it.
Yes. I'm gonna have to watch that back now.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's like an hour and 38-ish, 37, an hour and 37 minutes in.
Damn, we've talked for longer.
It literally had like a little tail on the end of it and everything.
Wow. I hope they're nice.
We got a ghost. Next, the after study. When I tell you, I screamed. When I saw this photo, I was like, I knew by the curls that it had to be Vima. And then I was like, that's got to be Fisk. Like, I don't know why, but my brain was just like, that's Fisk.
Wait, I haven't shown you that one in color. Fuck. It needs to be, you need to see it. You need to see it. You need to see it.
I love Fisk so much. He's probably my favourite character. Human character, because obviously Kiki, but that's the thing that annoys me the most about the study series. The second study series is, oh, you've got tail again behind your head. That's really funny. There's two of them. Look, see it?
No. Sure, it's not just the light.
I don't know, because I've been seeing like dust motes floating about, as you do. But like these have like tails on them.
Okay, well, I just hope they're nice, because I'm lovely. Look, guys, look. Look at him. Look at how tall he is in comparison, and look at Lil.
Yeah, we should probably still kick his ass.
I love them so much. I love them. But yeah, so we fast forward another 8 years. 6 years? 8 years?
Don't do that.
Rima. 8 years. So in wedding study, she's 12. And in after study, she's 20. So we find out, or we see her, as they're walking down the aisle, we see her, we know that she's whispered something to him, but we don't know what it is. And in this, we find out that it's at some point in the future, you and me will be married, or something to the equivalent of that.
Yeah. It's like, does she have prequel?
Well, she said that it's something of the world that she's always just known, or she saw really clearly in that moment, which is super cute. But in general, obviously Fisk is going around to see Yelena and the kiddos, which is how we know that they have the twins. And he says that he needs help and he needs someone to help him. And Rima's like, me, I'll do it. Let's go. And he's like, oh my God, where did the gangly teen go?
Absolutely not.
And
like, it's not that I think you can't do it. It's just you're too hot and I can't concentrate.
And it's so cute. And I love it. And the fact that we know that she's training with Honora and that she's getting to go study at the Magician's Keep, and we know that Tegan is now first magician. What?
You forgot about that other child. You forgot about the baby.
Oh, Moonman.
Moonman.
I still can't believe they actually named him Moonman.
Moonman. I mean, that's a normal name in this world.
Yeah.
So the 5-year-old twins, Willem and Victoria, Moonman, Liana, and Victor.
Victor.
No. Vincent? Vincent. Fisk! 5 voices yelled as their small bodies crashed into him, knocking him on the floor.
So cute. But yeah, I think it's a really good issue that they have, that now the Citadel kids are joining up for money and to help keep the city safe, rather than, and for helping with shopping and stuff, rather than it being kids that are homeless and kids that are on the street. The fact that we see that Zatora's brother-in-law's money has done such a good thing in the city, and that he's kept up with it, so you know that their family is okay, even though we haven't heard or seen it on page. And I loved it. I loved it so much. And the fact that by the end of it, she was like, I think you just need a new challenge. Why don't you just come with me? He's like, okay. Sure. Sounds like a plan.
I love the fact that she's threatening the guy and he's like, what did you do? She's like, oh honey, that's the least of your problems right now. we can't coerce a confession out of him. She's like, watch me.
I love that he's like, The Ixian way is better. It's quicker. Let's go.
You can't coerce a confession out of him. I, however,
have been training.
I wonder if, yeah. The thing is, though, right? Could you imagine how much more vicious she would be if she ever figured out the pressure points like Opal? See, if that's the thing, Opal's far too moral, because I would be using that to my advantage so often.
Dude, you'd be trying to make your legs dead so you didn't feel the pain anymore.
Not even that, like somebody would like grab, like in this sort of thing, somebody would grab me, like, you've got one warning to let go of me. And then if they didn't, pressure point.
Bye.
And you don't let go until you've made your point.
That'd be a good plan. I just love it so much, and I can't believe this is technically the end of the line.
I know, it's the end of the new plot, basically.
Yeah. Now we go back to the start with floppier books, I might add.
Yeah, with these.
Yeah. And they feel soft. Like, I don't know about you, but I really appreciate the feeling. And they're all reasonably short, to be fair. I think
First one's 350-something pages. First one's 350-something pages.
Well, I've got Fire here, and it is 321. And Magic is 310.
So, Study Poisons is the longest. I cannot wait to start Study of Poisons. Like, seeing that, like, because the fact that we now know that Valak hides so much behind that sort of persona.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what's going on. I'm that kind of person that wants to know what's going on in people's head, which is why I love third person. I'm too nosy. We'll see more private time with the commander. Like, I think going back and reading those three after reading this was the best idea. Like, obviously, it was partially to give Becca a sort of helping out because she won't be reading the other three. She's stopping here. But going into those with the information we have from the previous trilogies and this, I think will just make it so much more interesting.
Agreed. I think it's the very first chapter of the Study of Poisons that is almost, it's not a prequel because it's literally set as we start Poison Study, but it's just from like his POV before he meets Helena. It's like right at the start of the book. And I remember opening it thinking, oh my God, what the fuck? And then I literally didn't put the book down. Like, I just did not have chill. I did not stop. And I am very much expecting to do the same this time round. But as I say, I am very, very excited to get to this too, because I have not read them. But also,
I know, I'm kind of like gutted that we're reading them like month and month. We're so close to the end.
I don't know if this is a spoiler. I'm assuming it isn't because it's just a statement. But it just reminds me of you so much. And I'm going to give you it with no context because it's off the back of the Study of Magic and I don't know context. Frankly, I think death is the best cure for stupidity.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's about. I don't know who says it.
Probably Valak.
Know nothing other than the fact that I love it. My Zachary Ying went further in when I did that. Ugh. You gonna stay there? Stay.
Yeah. So it'll be Poison's February's book with the live show in March. Magic is March's book, live show in April. Fire is April's book, live show in May.
Yes. Probably some point round about the start of May so that we can draw a close, because we'll have read it by that point, let's face it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing stopping me from just binging them is the fact that we have the live shows.
Yeah. The thing stopping me was the fact I didn't have them. They weren't released. And then when I got the second one, I was like, I'll read it. And then we got so far through that I was like, fuck it. If I read it now, I have to reread it again in like 3 months. So I'm just waiting. Oops. But yeah, other than telling me I have a ghosty, Vicky, do you have anything further that you want to comment on? Is there any of the pictures that you love? Did you want to comment on any of the last few? I'm assuming you're not typing because your hands are sore. Just going to check who did that picture. Hilary Barden. Fairy Loot. Chronicles of Ixia art. I want a picture of the horses. I'm half asleep with a dog on top of me acting as a heater. Yeah, that's fair. That is very fair. In that case, Andy, do you have anything else you want to say before I close it?
No.
The character art on the Fairy Loot covers was by Daria Bobrova. Bobrova? I just went to check to see if it was the same lady that was in the thing, but she's not. But yeah, thank you for joining us, Vicky. That was 2 hours. I did not expect to be here for 2 hours, but also there's so many little bits and pieces to talk about with a short story collection. I feel like that's normally what happens. We will talk to you in like 5-10 minutes in our chat probably, or at least later on. Andy, thank you for joining me. Sorry for my screen being weird and for my new ghosty that I've apparently got. And I will speak to you guys soon. Bye.